Okay, during the mixing of your project, the assignment does ask you to include certain aspects, including attention to detail to volume, pan, dynamic control, equalization, etc. This is all at the bottom of the assignment brief. So I'm just going to quickly go through the first bit, which is volume. Balancing levels, which is fairly straightforward. Fade in and fade out, which I'll show you. Automation, headroom and output level. I have actually mentioned headroom already in the first video. Second video actually, sorry. Okay, so volume, balancing levels and fade in and fade out. Okay, so let's go to the project. All fairly straightforward stuff really. Balancing is just literally just getting your levels, changing fader. I'll just turn this volume down a minute. Individual fader levels, bus fader levels, just general volume stuff. One thing it does ask for on the assignment actually is fade in and fade outs. So fade in and fade out. So let me just show you a quick example of what that means. What you'll sometimes find with digital audio, so obviously these are all digital audio files that you've recorded, you quite often find, and it may not happen here, let me just quickly play, bear with me a second, put this fader back up. So if I just solo this saxophone, okay, what you often find, it's not happening now, but it doesn't really matter, is with a piece of audio, the start and end point of the audio file, you sometimes get little digital clicks where the play bar goes from nothing to the audio file. And what you can do is, if you do get a little digital click, because when you're editing audio, this is where you get the click. So all you need to do is you can go to a fade tool here. So I'm going to just quickly, actually let me just put the fade tool here and you can see what it's doing. So I'll do that. So if you just click off the file and off the region and click onto the region, you get this little shaded triangle section. You can actually create a curve with this, and you can make this as long as you like. And the idea is that when the track's playing and it hits the front of this digital audio region, it will fade in the sound. So you actually only need, to be honest with you, a few milliseconds to, if there is a click, to avoid the click. What you'll find is when you highlight the region, all the information's up here on the region kind of drop down menu. So fade in, it's got 60, that means 16 milliseconds. You can actually edit this here as well, just click on it and move it around. To be honest with you, even 1 or 2 or 3 milliseconds will be enough. One thing you can do actually is, instead of using automation, you can use this fade tool, where is it, to actually fade up a sound. Let's have a listen. Okay, so that's hard for you to hear. So you can use this for 2 ways. You can use it very subtly. So if I just put this back to say 5 milliseconds, you can't even really see it there until I zoom in. The little fade in, just a very tiny 5 milliseconds, for example, here, will eradicate any clicks that you may get from editing digital audio. If you make the fade really long, it says, where are we? There we go. Then it will literally fade up the sound. So you can use it as an effect, as a fade tool. So it's entirely up to you how you use it. And as I said, you can play around with the curve. Let's have a listen again. Actually, you may not have heard that on this video recording. You can do the same on the end of a session. So use the fade tool. So there's the fade tool. But obviously at the end, the fade outs, you would click on the audio file and drag across to the end. And again, you can put a curve on that. So again, you could fade something out. So I could bring this in. So we should be able to hear this a bit better now, actually. Let me just turn this up so you might be able to hear it. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that, but that is actually fading out a saxophone. So you can use it as that effect, or you can use a very, very short. So you can see now, again on this drop-down menu, when you click on the digital audio region, click on more, and this is the fade out. So this is actually it's an 11-second fade out. But you can change that to say 5 milliseconds, and that will just put this very, very shortest fade out at the end, which we can have a quick look at. And that all that will do is just get rid of clicks. You can't even really see it actually. There it is. There. So that's adding fade outs, fade ins and fade outs to get rid of clicks, or to fade in or to fade out the sounds.